On a cold January evening in 2025, the sky over Philadelphia was quiet. That is, until a deafening crash shattered the silence. A medical transport plane carrying a sick child and a team of healthcare workers went down shortly after takeoff, crashing near a shopping center. Tragically, 6 people on board and 1 person on the ground lost their lives. As thick smoke rose from the wreckage, emergency teams rushed to the scene. Then, amid the twisted metal and debris, a small movement, a faint sound. Rescue workers paused, listening intently. Beneath the wreckage, they discovered a tiny, trembling puppy, its wide eyes filled with fear. Somehow, against all odds, the little pup had survived. But the biggest question remained: who did it belong to? No owner could be found. There was no way to confirm if its owner had been among the victims. With no one to claim the pup, rescuers brought it to a local animal shelter. But this wasn't the end of the story. In fact, it was just the beginning. A few days later, Barron Trump visited a Philadelphia animal shelter with his mother, Melania Trump. Growing up, Barron had always loved animals, and he was eager to meet the shelter pets, perhaps even adopt one. As he walked through the shelter, something caught his eye. In the farthest corner, away from the barking and excitement, sat a small, quiet puppy. Unlike the others, it wasn't jumping or wagging its tail. It just sat there, its deep, soulful eyes telling a story of fear and uncertainty. Barron stopped in front of the pup's enclosure and read the sign: Survivor of the Philadelphia plane crash. Owner unknown. He stood still, taking it all in. This tiny creature had lived through something unimaginable. It had survived the worst night of its life, only to end up here, alone and waiting. Barron knelt down and slowly extended his hand. The puppy hesitated at first, then cautiously stepped forward, sniffing Barron's fingers. After a brief pause, it licked his hand. Just once, softly. A warm smile spread across Barron's face. In that moment, he knew. Barron wasted no time in completing the adoption process. He wanted to give the pup a name that truly meant something. After thinking for a while, he finally settled on the perfect one: Hope. Because that's exactly what this little survivor embodied. At first, Hope was shy and uncertain. Adjusting to a new environment wasn't easy. But as the days passed, with Barron's kindness and patience, the puppy's fears began to fade. Soon, Hope became a source of joy, running freely through the White House gardens, never straying far from Barron's side. Hope was more than just a pet. She was a symbol of resilience, of second chances. And for Barron, she became a constant reminder that even in the darkest moments, light can still shine through. She had survived that crash alone, but fate had never intended for her to stay that way.